Wow, Toyota really took this whole no boring cars thing very seriously. Who hurt them? So, Toyota Gazoo Racing just premiered 2 brand new sports cars, the Toyota GT and the Toyota GT3. This is actually Toyota Gazoo Racing's first ever Halo car. And not only that, to make it even more unfair for everybody else in the car world, they basically revealed the brand new LFA as well, which we will get to. Toyota is just cheating at this point. So today we are going to break down the Toyota GT Unveil, break down the car's entire philosophy and kind of the goal of this car, what it means against its competition, and if we should even care as enthusiasts. Okay, spoiler alert. We should care, but I will get to the counter argument later. Oh yeah, make sure to hit that like button or you're forced to daily drive a Yugo for 1 year. Okay, so the unveil of the Toyota GT. We had a hint of this car at Goodwood, but it was under a whole bunch of camo. But it really did get the people talking. Not the people going, it's provocative. So we all knew they were up to something, but we weren't quite sure what it was going to be. If it was just going to be a race car or something along those lines. Some people even thought it might be the new Supra, because the Mark V Supra is finally going to be phased out since the final edition came along, so we're going to kind of see where this next Supra goes, so some people tried to predict it as the new Supra. Makes sense, I could see it. But then the unveil happened and Toyota Gazoo Racing finally said, okay, this is actually what we've been working on and what we've been up to. Here's all kind of the most important points. Basically, they give a quick background of their goal of no more boring cars, which they've totally delivered on, and of course, breaking down the car itself. Now, the car still is in development, but it looks pretty darn far along. The main trend you kind of see them talking about and showing off on their website and in news outlets and everything else is the center of gravity. It's a huge focal point of this car. The driver actually sits in a very low position, and the driver position itself actually looks straight out of a race car. It also has really great weight distribution, so it's gonna have 45% in the front and 55% in the back. Second, it's got a freaking V8. I'm gonna say that again. In 2025, going into 2026, in a world of EVs are going to take over and blah, 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 Toyota is building a twin turbocharged V8 in a sports car. That is a massive win for enthusiasts everywhere. And Toyota knows how to build a V8. Even though they're known for like the 2JZ and a lot of the inline 6s and stuff like that, Toyota definitely knows how to build a V8. The 5.0 that was in the Lexus RCF and also the LC500, it sounded absolutely glorious. It's exciting stuff, and the Toyota GT even has a sound clip on their website of what it sounds like. You can hit play and listen to the engine, and it sounds absolutely mental. Oh yeah, and to make it even better, it has a transaxle. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would live in a world in the 2020s where Ford built a Mustang Halo car with a transaxle and Toyota builds a V8 Halo car with a transaxle. What a time to be alive. But the transaxle is actually a hybrid system, and thankfully nowadays, when hybrid is in a sports car, that typically means better acceleration. So I'm not too tore up about that part. The frame itself is actually all aluminum. It's Toyota Gazoo Racing's first ever all aluminum body, or frame, rather, or aluminium over in the UK. That's just fun to say it that way. Thanks, Jeremy Clarkson. Aluminium. So let's talk about the looks of the car. What do I think of it? If you ask me, we have a real winner here. It could have gone completely wrong, but it's a real winner in my opinion. I like the really long nose. The side profile looks beautiful. The rear might be a little busy for some people, but I like it. I think it's fine, and it's actually all about function. Long taillight is a cool look, and it's integrated really well. I'd be stoked to see this car rolling down the street in motion. It'd be like, whoa, that's a Toyota GT. That's awesome. It's not like, man, they really dropped the ball on that one. In a lot of ways, to me, it's a much meaner looking LC500, and that's not to knock the car at all. I think the LC500 was a beautiful car. It's just a meaner version of it to me when it comes aesthetically. But according to Toyota's website, there's something very interesting about it and its styling. The aerodynamics of the car were developed first, with looks kind of being the secondary priority. So basically they engineered the whole car to be as aerodynamic as they could, and then it just kind of turned out this way in many aspects. Not completely, it still had, you know, designers to make it look nice, but aero was the first priority, and it ended up looking as mean and crazy as it is. If I remember right, the McLaren MP4-12C was a very similar aesthetic as well, where aero is like a big part of their design language, which is what made people thought it be boring, which is ironic, but this is like the complete opposite. And Toyota's website actually talks about this, and I quote, "In the case of the GR GT, the ideal aerodynamic performance was established first, followed by consideration of exterior styling. Aerodynamics engineers and exterior designers work together to achieve styling that pursues aerodynamic and cooling performance." Lo and behold, this is because they're trying to build the perfect GT3 car, and they want to compete in the GT3 class. One of their quotes during the presentation is, "We want to build a car for people that want to win." Like, it doesn't get more clear than that. What's also really cool about the GT3 version is that it's going to still be using the twin-turbo V8 that's going to be in the street car. A lot of times with these homologated race cars with the GT3 and a street car, the motors will be slightly different, or the GT3 will actually be more underpowered than overpowered like the street car, mostly for temperature and longevity and stuff like that. So overall, I find this to be a huge win for Toyota GR. Now, for my little complete devil's advocate theory at the beginning of this video, should enthusiasts even care about this thing? Because you and I both know it's probably gonna be limited production. It's gonna be extremely expensive. And some people even said, why are they even building this thing if people can't even afford it? Well, here's the thing. There's like this completely different market now that is proving to be successful. The GTD is pretty much sold out. And I see this very much as Toyota's GTD. But Toyota, if you're listening, this is all completely speculative. Like, I might be completely wrong where it might be a little bit more affordable and you make way more of them than I think, but that's just me speculating. So I think we should care because the technology and all that, if it is a very expensive car, could trickle down to whatever comes next for Toyota. And we know for a fact that they want to build even more cool sports cars in the future. So I see it more as a great R&D exercise for maybe some cool stuff down the road for other people. So in a perfect world where they build a bunch of these and people can actually get their hands on them, I would be all over it. That'd be the coolest thing ever to see these down the road. Okay, let's quickly talk about the LFA concept. It's not official, but it seems like they're going to commit to building this car. Now, the LFA, if you don't know, if you're living under a rock as an enthusiast, everybody in the long run really liked the LFA. Materials used in the car were very advanced at the time, and there was only 500 of them made, roughly. I think there is maybe a little bit more, but around 500, including some that crashed. So maybe it's under 500 now. Okay, I shouldn't joke because they're like super expensive. So it turns out that the car that Lexus showed off at Car Week this year was the LFA concept. But the LFA concept is an EV. I know what you feel on the screen right now. But if one of these had to be an EV, it was gonna be the Lexus. Lexus is more seen as the luxury brand. And I might seem like I'm being a little easy on it, but it's mostly because of the GT existing, right? So, like, if it was the only thing we got, I'd be like, dude, why didn't you make that thing combustion? Come on. But since we have the Toyota GT, it's like a little silver lining for this LFA concept thing. When you think of an LFA, what do you think about? You think about the engine. That beautiful Yamaha tuned V10 that was in the LFA was iconic with that tri-exhaust, right? It's the motor. It's what most people remember. So I don't know how this one's going to sell per se compared to the last one. The last one was just such a pure driving experience. The LFA concept, I'm sure it's gonna be barbarically fast. And the interior and everything still looks like a concept car. I'd be very shocked if this is what the final product looks like. And I think the exterior looks great. It's very similar to the Toyota GT, in my opinion, when it comes to the side profile and some of the body shape, but I think it looks really nice. But yeah, another win for the Toyota Motor Company and the car community in general, because internal combustion sports cars are still being built. Thoughts, comments, concerns, Toyota GT, GT3, LFA, what do you think about it? Put it down in the comment section below. And on that note, I appreciate every single one of you guys for stopping by today's video.